Well, what is up, my Next Gen fam? Welcome to the next installment of Mentor Moments with Next Gen HQ. We want you to just sit back, take out your notebook, and get to the inspiration that comes. We are so very honored to have Steve Seidel on with us today to share a bit about his story. So just so you know, Steve is an award-winning marketer, speaker, and the founder of the Seidel agency with over 15 years of experience building brands that truly make an impact, inspire positive actions, and one of my favorites, empower audiences everywhere. Steve, thank you so much for making the time for us today.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and it's been a wonderful time in today's day and age, and it's amazing to connect via Zoom. It's become one of my favorite things to do, so I welcome this opportunity, and thank you for everybody for tuning in. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Hopefully this will be one of the most memorable Zoom interviews you have, though.
Oh yes, absolutely. This is top. This is top of the line right here. Thank you, Rachel.
Amazing. So Next Gen fam, Steve is all about inspiring and impacting everyone to really make a positive impact in the world. So buckle up because we're going to dive into his story. But Steve, to start off right now, we got to put you into a little bit of a Next Gen HQ tradition with some rapid fire questions.
Sure. I thought you were going to say rap because that would have been fun too.
Rapid fires. So I'm going to throw out some quick questions for you. The first thing that comes to mind is the answer you got to stick with.
Sure, let's do it.
What is one book that you'd recommend to others?
The one book that I would recommend to others is one that I'm reading right now. It's Seed of the Soul. It's amazing. It really puts you in the position of empowerment and putting that ego out of the way so that you can really serve with purpose.
Love that. There we go. I'm going to add that to my list as we speak.
Do it.
What's your
Oprah
spirit?
featured it. Of course, when Oprah puts her name on it, then you know it's gold.
There we go. I love it. So what is your spirit animal?
Oh, my animal. What I would say, we had this discussion recently, is the chameleon. So one of the things that I love to do is to really connect with individuals. And one of the ways to do that is to ultimately almost become a mirror and mirror what they're doing, but also mirror their purpose. And so, you know, like we talked about rap, I'm familiar with hip hop or country music or alternative. And so when you're in that moment, I like to be a chameleon and just kind of get in there and blend.
I love that. On that note, what is your favorite power boost song?
Oh man, my favorite power boost song. Let's see, that's a wonderful question. So I have a series of them, but usually I go back to my childhood. Usually that's where a lot of the emotions and things start to formulate. For me, it was in high school, Rage Against the Machine, Know Your Enemy. So when you know your enemy, you know how to conquer them.
I love that. Definitely going to need to give that a listen.
Yeah.
And finally, what is one healthy habit that you have?
Oh, there's tons of healthy habits. I recently did the Comeback Challenge with Tony Robbins. And so everybody knows Tony Robbins, but one of the things that he talks about, a lot of leaders do the same thing, is really setting a really solid morning routine. And so one of the things that we want to do is we want to prime ourselves for the day, much like machinery, make sure that it functions effectively. So every morning, really start off the day tremendously. So priming with that routine, there's meditation, noticing 3 things that you can be grateful for, noticing 3 goals that you want to attain. And then on top of that, just sort of putting yourself in a position of power. In addition to that, my friend, shout out to Dean Bakari, he told me about Next Gen. He does something called PIES, P-I-E-S, and one thing physical, one thing intellectual, one thing emotional, and one thing spiritual. And those are all included in my priming every morning. But when you address that for like 5 minutes, you really allow your body and your mind and your soul to focus on a higher level.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And what a good little thing to kind
Take a bite out of your pies every morning. Be healthy.
I could go for a slice of pie every morning if you put it in front of me.
Yeah, nice.
Amazing.
What kind of pie?
Amazing. Well, on that note, let's hope that some of our next geners actually watch this when they wake up in the morning so that they can just be inspired to really take ownership of their whole entire day. But Steve, we're gonna start diving in a little bit, and I'd love to take you back more so to the beginning of your professional journey. I saw that you actually went to school and studied industrial engineering, but it seems like your whole entire career path has been based in a much more creative space. So I'd love to know what inspired either that switch, or maybe for you it was really a natural evolution from the space of industrial engineering to where you are today.
Yes, thank you so much. I went to Penn State University, and so when I was in high school, where a lot of things are formulating, like I said earlier, my parents noticed and recognized that I had a lot of skill sets in science and mathematics. And so there's AP classes, and it was really, to me, about problem solving. I had a love for creativity. I wanted to be an actor. I had a lot of these dreams and aspirations that I never really got into. I went to Penn State, my first audition. I went and tried it. I blanked. I got super, ashamed and scared. But those are the moments that really put it together for me. And so as I began to continue forward, I worked for Motorola down in Texas. And so I started to recognize that there was this yearn to create and so to connect with individuals. And in an engineering capacity, it could be part of a team, or it may be a single-minded journey or an evolution for you to really tackle really difficult, challenging problems. And so for me, I recognized that I was a very creative person, that I had the left brain and the right brain. Having gone to school for engineering, it was a challenge for me to take both of those skill sets, really understand what my passions were. My passions were to entertain, to connect, to make people laugh, and really serve their purpose. But at the same time, how can I solve problems? And so that's what led me from engineering. Then I got involved in entertainment. So I sort of went from one to the other. And then after learning those individuals and those experiences, I wanted to merge both of them. So that's where it came through with marketing and speaking and finding ways to really understand what your purpose was. And so now what I teach is to push play on purpose. And so pushing play is, video marketing. It's also just pushing the button and trying, but fully understanding what your purpose is, mixed together with your skill sets and your passion to find that happy medium. And so it was a journey for myself to land upon that, but here we are today.
You know what? Sometimes it doesn't matter about what journey or what experiences it took to get you there, as long as you got to that point that you were supposed to be at. That's the power of it.
Yeah, and I was laid off in my career 3 different times. So for Motorola, it just wasn't a quite fit. I got laid off, and then I got involved in entertainment. I worked for a startup, got laid off for them. Then I worked for an influencer marketing company. As I was kind of figuring things out, I was taking all of these skill sets, and then I decided it was time to take the power back myself and really create something that I could believe in. And so that every day I don't have to go to work, I get to go to work. And I can continue to empower individuals and give them the tools that they need to become the best version of themselves. And so at my agency, we strive to do good, to give back, and make an impact. And that's ultimately what my mission is.
That kind of segues perfectly into this next thing that I wanted to ask you, which was actually speaking more to the professional journey that you've been on. I see that you've played a lot of different roles as far as being a marketing director, a video producer, a content producer, and then about maybe 3 to 5 years ago is when you decided to make the switch and actually build your own company and build your own agency. Can you take us back to the moment when you knew it was time, when you knew I don't want to work for anyone anymore. I want to build my own thing. I want to create for other people. What was that experience like?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's a great question. So that moment of clarity for me or anybody out there that is in a rough position, and we talk a lot right now about building virtual businesses. So Zoom meetings, there's ways to really determine how to reach a target market. First, I think it's understanding that you are powerful, you are unique, you do have the skill set to be an amazing individual, whether or not it's with a company. You can do it with a company or without a company. So for me, the aha moment was, it was the 3rd time that I was laid off. I recently had a baby girl, a daughter, and one of my dreams in life was to become an amazing father. My parents grew up, and they were divorced, and so I was always like, oh, I want to be an amazing father, but I also want to father and help the vulnerable children within everyone to really love themselves, to find those limiting beliefs. But so I got laid off, and then I had a daughter, and it was like, okay, now I need to figure out what's going to be next. And so I was under the point where I no longer wanted to give the power away, and took a hard look at myself and decided that I want to leave a legacy for both myself, for my children, for everybody that I come in contact with. And so there was a video out. I was just by Ice Cube, actually. It has a lot to do with like a lot of the political movements, but it was saying, whatever it is, you need to invest in yourself. And so whether or not you're working at a store and you're investing in that one shelf that you're putting up, ultimately you want to become building more and more shelves. But for me, I decided to just go ahead and build it myself and have the ability to believe in myself. And I think that's the first thing. It's the most important thing, is really believing in yourself and knowing that there's a goal in mind, but you just have to start. You have to push play on purpose and move forward and realize that people want you to succeed. At the end of the day, we often pit ourselves against other individuals, but we really just need to get better. Nike just had an amazing commercial about Kobe Bryant. It was brilliant marketing. It was just be better. You know, be better about waking up earlier. Be better about writing down your goals. Be better about your time management. And it's just a gradual process, and you really just need to start.
You hit on so many of NextGen HQ's values within what you just said. The 1% growth every single day, loving what you do, and making the most of the relationships that you have in your life. You're speaking our language over there, Steve.
That's what I love what you guys are doing, because it's really about finding yourself in that alignment of what your core competencies are and what you're delivering. And, you know, sit back. If you're not doing something that you're enjoying, then it's time to change. And so I'm very thankful for what you deliver, and I'm thankful to be able to help people do that. So thank you.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting. I've actually been in a very similar conversation with several of our community members and some friends of mine, especially kind of over the past few weeks, about how being an entrepreneur, if you were to look up the definition of it in a dictionary, being an entrepreneur means that you've founded a business, you run a company, however many synonyms you want to add there. But being an entrepreneur is so much about the personal and the introspection and the reflective side of things, that you really have to know who you are before you can even attempt to really kind of grow that into a company and into a brand.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. A lot of individuals know who they are. They know what they want. It took me more of a discovery process, but I knew what my skill sets were. So I think that's really important, is reflecting on your skill sets, reflecting on what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy. And then you can sort of dig deeper into where your why is. Like Simon Sinek says, really start with your why. And so when we start with companies, we want to understand your mission first, because that's your foundation, and then your message, what you're delivering to the world. Because what you think, what you say, what you write, what you do, that's all, you know, taking your time and your resources, and you want to build higher. Then lastly, it's that marketing. And I think the key to marketing, that one of the things that I speak a lot about, is socially conscious companies and socially conscious brands. I worked at Disney World in college, and they were all about synergy. And this was the college program in '98, and they were the first individuals to really have the soundtrack, to have the plush stuffed animals, all those individual items. Now you see it everywhere, but really finding that synergy. And I think if you can find a socially conscious solution, especially now with the virtual society that we live in, people will vote with their dollar. And it started a lot with Tom Shoes and Warby Parker and all these other individual companies, but we don't work with anybody that doesn't have a component built into their business that isn't doing that. And then when we work with companies, we take a lot of our proceeds and we give them to a charity called Children's Mending Hearts, where we donate to schools to combat bullying. But if you can find that socially conscious solution so that you're helping your company, obviously whether it's nonprofit or for profit, you're helping your community, and then you're helping your end consumer. I think that's really going to allow you to catapult your business and really grow from there. And then with the marketing, the two things you need are the irresistible offer, and then you really need to know who your target market is. And so when you can pinpoint that, it really makes it easier. And that's where that mission, and then the message, and then once you figure out that target market, it just makes it seamless.
I love that. And it seems like so much of these learnings that you've been able to come across have just kind of been a part of your own journey. It seems like you have a really strong why for what you're doing, and that has kind of bled into the company that you're building around this idea of impact, helping inspire future generations, wanting to inspire your daughter to be the best, most fantastic woman that she can be. Was there a particular, let's call it a self-revelation or self-awareness moment that really brought you into knowing, this is my mission, this is what I'm here to do?
That's a great question. I think it's been an ongoing process. I've had a few things that happened recently that have been really eye-opening for myself. So about a year and a half ago, my dad passed away, and it's kind of a rite of passage for a lot of individuals, right? We're all going to die someday. And so we really need to dig deep and understand that we have this limited time here on earth. What can we do to really make it worthwhile? What can we do that we step into the room that we're positive, we're thinking positive? That's that morning routine. But my friend told me, you're never really a man until you lose your dad. And so after that happened, I was like, whoa. First moment happened when I had my daughter. I was like, okay, I need to protect her. I need to provide for her. I need to be a positive role model. When I lost my father, and there's some other members of my family that are sick as well. It's really a moment of clarity. And I think for me, I need to put my family first. And even now with business, it's challenging, right? You're at the phone and you're doing text messaging. But I think when you can really look at yourself in the mirror and know what are my top 3 priorities. I work with a coach. I think everybody should work with a coach, but she'd helped me identify my 3 highest commitments. And so it's my family, it's my legacy, and it's leaving a better tomorrow, by leveraging my company and my business. But I think these moments, these rite of passage that happen, somebody gets sick, there's a car accident. I get excited talking about this. I'm just doing it right now. You need to take a moment, breathe, sit in that moment. And I think that breath is really important as well, because we get so far ahead of ourselves. Really coming back and taking that breath to realign ourselves, and having it on your wall, in your wallet, in your business, on your whiteboard, really reminding yourself every single day. I'm fortunate enough that I can look at my daughter and I can see my family members. That's where that morning routine can put you back where you need to be.
Making my heart get all warm with this conversation. I love
Yeah,
it.
warm it up. Give yourself a hug.
I love that. Actually, one of our last mentors that we featured had something really similar as far as a mindfulness habit that he has. Every day at 4 p.m., his alarm goes off in his phone and he calls it an alignment and intention alarm. So every day at 4 p.m., he stops what he's doing, takes a deep breath, makes sure that he's checking in with how he's feeling, what he's grateful for, and then continues on with his day. So I love how that's aligned there a little bit.
Yeah, there's a really amazing book that I heard about, I think, from Tim Ferriss's podcast, but it's the 5-minute gratitude journal, and it's on Amazon. It's like $20, but you write 3 things down that you want to conquer that day. It literally takes you 2 minutes in the morning, and then at the end of the day, you wrap up what went great, what could I have improved upon. And then I have another book called The Idea Machine, and what that does, it allows you to come up with 10 ideas every day. And so I try and get more in a mindset of visionary thinking, like what problems can I solve on a much larger level? Obviously, there's smaller problems that, maybe you can't get in your front door or whatever, or maybe internal problems, but how can we think big picture? Look at Elon Musk. He was always shooting for the moon. So I look up to a lot of these visionaries like that to try and figure out how we can solve these both minor problems, but larger issues as well. And one thing I wanted to mention that we don't get a lot is that contact now, because it's virtual and you see people. So what are ways that you can really connect with individuals so you will feel rooted in your purpose? So to me, it's taking a walk, connecting with individuals, looking at them. If you do have loved ones, a lot of people will give them a hug like here. If you move over here and hug them, you can actually touch their heart, and it's a lot more intimate. So try those things.
So many tips and so many things for our community members to go look at, purchase, think about. We are so grateful for having you on today, Steve. But to wrap up everything and end this on a really good note, one final question for you. It's a big one. What is your hope for the next generation of leaders?
Okay, great. What is my hope for the next generation of leaders? Okay, I'm going to answer this in 3 pieces. So my hope for next generation leaders, I'm a big believer in the power of 3, but my hope is that we continue to have hope and that we leverage hope as the key metric to really drive us forward. And so oftentimes, even the TV we're watching or, the notifications, whether or not it's unplugging from your Wi-Fi, digging into your journal, but really going within ourselves to know that there is hope in this world. There is positivity. There are visionaries. There's, solutions and things that are being built that we've never even known about before. So my hope is that we continue to have hope. My second is that we continue to love ourselves and love those around us, because without love, there's really nothing to stand on. There's no platform for us to really build from. And then the third piece of that puzzle is give it away. I mean, we got to give it away. Let go, give it away, let it ride. And that's a lot of what our meditation beliefs are. And a lot of where I'm at is by giving back with these socially conscious solutions or by helping friends, mentor programs. We have to give it away, because otherwise we have nothing to stand upon. So my hope for next generation leaders is hope, it's love, and it's the ability to give it away and being grateful in that process.
Hope, love, and giving. I think we can make a dedication, everyone watching this right now, to be able to do those things and do them well and with pride.
Yeah, and I'm from Philadelphia, so brotherly love runs deep.
Aww.
Eat a cheesesteak while you're at it. Or if you're vegan, you could try it with mushrooms.
There we go. Amazing. Well, Steve, thank you so very much for coming on to Mentor Moments with us. We are so grateful for your time and can't wait to have a cheesesteak with you in person.
Oh, I can't wait either. Let's do it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you so much.